Welcome back to my channel, Fazbear's Menagerie of Madness, where I'll explore the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's and I hope in a new and unique interpretation of events. One of the most agreed upon points from the Five Nights games is that Phone Guy died on the fourth night of the first game. In the next two games, Phone Guy returns, although with the second game being a prequel and the third game including older recordings. But what if that is not the whole story? What if when viewed as a trilogy, we are given a different outcome?
Now, concerning your safety, the only real risk to you as a night watchman here, if any, is here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. They'll probably try to forcefully stuff you in.
Probably the most compelling outcome for Phone Guy comes from night one, where he mentions a fate of being forcibly stuffed into a suit. This idea foreshadows when later in the week the animatronics come for him and becomes the basis for most people's understanding of Phone Guy's fate.
I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. I always wondered what was in all those empty heads.
The fourth night includes how glad he is that he recorded these messages, followed by the sounds of banging on the door and the likely forced entry by the animatronics. The understanding we get is that Phone Guy will hold out in the security office for as long as he could, and if that doesn't work, Mike should check the costumes in the back room for his body. So why would I doubt this outcome? Because the second and third games offer a different understanding of these lines.
By now I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now.
The second game is a prequel to the first, noting the changes happening within the restaurant. While still catering to customers, we learn about the use of the back room.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right.
This will be the second time we hear about the back room, and it appears this room is likely parts and service. We also learn that the older costumes are being stored here. By the third game, we get the earliest recordings from Phone Guy, as the performers and entertainers would only be working between 1983 and 1987, while customers had been attending the restaurant. We learn that Phone Guy knew more about the spring-lock costumes that are in storage.
Hello. Welcome to your new career as a performer/entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. These tapes will provide you with much-needed information on how to handle/climb into/climb out of mascot costumes. Right now, we have two specially designed suits that double as both animatronic and suit. So please pay close attention while learning how to operate these suits, as accidents/injuries/death/irreparable and grotesque maiming can occur. As always, if there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is built with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layouts programmed into the animatronics or security suits. This room is hidden to customers, invisible to animatronics, and is always off camera.
So Phone Guy understood very well how to operate the spring-lock costumes retrieved from that old location. He understood the risks of their use and the correct way to operate them. Those risks came with a plan, just in case of problems. This room is clearly the place that staff went during an emergency, and staff were expected to use it.
Safety is top priority at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is why the classic suits are being retired to an appropriate location while being looked at by our technicians.
This same room was also used as storage for the costumes.
The safe room is reserved for equipment and/or other property not being currently used and as a backup safety location for employees only. This is not a break room and should not be considered a place for employees to hide and/or congregate. And under no circumstance should a customer ever be taken into this room and out of the main show area. Management has also been made aware that the Spring Bonnie animatronic has been noticeably moved. We would like to remind employees that this costume is not safe to wear under any circumstances.
The yellow costume, either Freddy or Bonnie, is located on the premises. The costumes are located there while the safe room doubles as storage. This room is the safest room on the premises to be in during an emergency. The security office, on the other hand, is a separate room the animatronics are able to enter. Any guard in the security office is not safe, while the safe room is invisible to the animatronics.
This is just to inform all employees that due to budget restrictions, the previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one.
With the sealing of the safe room, Spring Bonnie is contained for many years. Bonnie would make an appearance by the end of the third game, some 30 years after the restaurant closed its doors to customers in 1987. So what do I think happened in 1993 on the fourth night of the first game? With the information that Phone Guy knows of the safe room and the knowledge of the correct operation of the Springlock costumes, I suspect he wanted to hide in that room until Mike came for him when it was safe to do so. Phone Guy being glad he recorded his messages could be because he wouldn't be near a telephone later that night. The line, "I'm going to try and hold out until someone checks," may have been misunderstood as him being in the security office. But why wasn't the safe room considered? Asking Mike to check the suits in the back may not have been to recover his body after being stuffed. Alternatively, it was because he hid in one. He also wondered what was in those empties' head, because he was likely about to be wearing one. So what happened to Phone Guy? Well, I think the third game shows us. Someone gets trapped in the Springlock Bonnie costume, fused with it for many years. In a previous video, I outlined the two Spring Bonnie costume theory, where I outlined that there had been two costumes in rotation at the restaurants. I pointed out the differences between the third game version to the one William wore in the Silver Eyes graphic novel. I also called out that within the Twisted Ones and Fourth Closet stories, that the Springtrap we see was likely an animatronic using an illusion disc. I left the video with an unresolved issue that I didn't know who wore the second costume that the illusion disc had copied, as the image was different to the one William trapped himself in. I now think Phone Guy got to the safe room that night in 1993, but Mike Schmidt never came for him, likely due to ambiguity of what he had said. It would be the main character from the third game that came face to face with him. Michael Afton would see the monster in Spring Bonnie and burn the place to the ground, with Phone Guy in it. Thanks for staying with me till the end. To find out when new videos become available, subscribe for future content.